Hey, good morning, everyone. Can you confirm audible or not?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah. So, where we stopped in the last session? The last session we discussed about the class syntax, right? So, if anybody asks what is class, okay, what is an object, these are not only related to Java, these are like common for any programming language. Okay, what is an object? Okay, the next one is how we can access the members of a class. How we can access the members of a class. Okay, so what is class? Yesterday we already discussed, right? My class contains what? When you can go with the class. Class is a collection of variables and methods, you can say. See, I have a plan, but that is not yet implemented. Okay, that is physically not available. Just if you want to represent that plan, then you can go with the class or not. Yes or no? My class contains what? Variables and methods. Variables and methods. Okay, the basic one I'm telling inside that constructor is there. Different. We'll see later. The next one is like, what is an object? You have a plan, you have a thought. Okay, with that thought, you just created a class. When that thought can implement physically, when that is available, for example, bus. Okay, you can take a bus class. When I can confirm this bus has these many wheels, my bus color is like red, when I can confirm whenever the bus physically available or not. Whenever that is physically available, that one we can say like an object. So whenever the bus is available, it means the object is physically available. Then only we can get the services or we can access the members of a class or not. So what is an object? The object which is like physical representation of your class. Okay, using this object we can access the members of a class or not. So the next question answer is what? How we can access the members of a class? How we can access the members of a class using an object, using a class also. But if the member is like a static, for now the basic stuff or the basic things we can focus. Using an object we can access the members of a class or not. Okay, so how we can create, okay, how we can create a class, how we can create a class in Java, how we can create a class in Java. Okay, now these three questions answer is like same for any programming language, but this question answer is vary from one program language to another programming language. Why? Because in Java you have to create a class or not. So tell me how we can create a class in Java. How we can create a class in Java using a class keyword. So how we can write it? My class. What is my class name? Okay, any name you can give it. Okay, but okay, make sure the name should starts with okay, uppercase. Okay, should starts with uppercase. Uppercase you can use it. Recommended always. Okay, class name. After that, open brace and closing brace. Okay, my class contains what I said. This is valid class syntax. This is valid class syntax. My class contains what? My class contains what? Variables, right? As well as methods. Variables are mandatory or optional. In Java variables are like mandatory or optional. Come on, in Java variables are like mandatory or optional. Optional, right? Okay.
Option.
Based
Optional.
on your requirement. Okay, based on your requirement, how many variables you want, that many variables you can put it. That means 0 to any number of variables you can write it. So how we can write? Okay, class, any class name, for example bus only, my class name. Done. Class or class name. The next one is what? Variables. Okay, how we can create a variable in Java? How we can create a variable in Java? The syntax is what? Data type. Next, data type,
Variable
variable name,
name,
and
variable value.
value or not. If you not mention this variable value, then the time no problem. The default value it is going to assign. But for now, stick with this syntax. Okay. Now my front wheels like two. My front wheels like two. So how we can create a variable into my front wheels is like two. Here in Java, any statement you can take, that statement should ends with a semicolon like this. Okay, done. My first variable is done. The second variable also, okay, back will equals to, okay, 4 like this, done. Okay, so the class which contains variables, okay, not only variables, my class can contains methods also or not. The class can contains methods also or not. So methods, how many methods you can write in a class? Okay, is it like mandatory? No. Okay, 0 to any number of methods you can write it based on your requirement, 0 to any number of methods. Now tell me, what is the syntax for the method in Java? What is the syntax for the method in Java? The syntax for the method. Now come on, access modifier, access modifier,
Return
after
type.
that
Return type.
return type, after that method name, after that the representation, the method representation. The next one is what? Open brace and closing brace. Okay, here you can write your statements based on your requirement. How many statements you want, that many statements you can write it. Understood everyone? How many statements you want, that many statements you can write it. So here you can write. Okay, what is access modifier? Okay, in your own words tell me access modifier. Okay, access modifier is tells from where I can access this particular method. Okay, if it is like a public means what? Okay, from anywhere we can access. Private, only restricted space. Okay, in the restricted area only I can access. Protected, okay, public and private. Public wherever I can, private only restricted place. Protected means there has extend to private, some other place where we'll see later. Okay, so from where I can access, it is going to represent. Public means from anywhere I can access it or not. Just for now go with the public. There has one concept is there, that is like access modifier. Okay, there has one concept is there. Okay, that is like what? Access modifier. Access modifiers concept is there. That time you can come to know, that time you can come to know. But for now just follow public. See, data types just into you can remember. For now we have different data types are there, we can discuss. Access modifier for now, public you can focus. Okay, the next one is what? Public. Return type. Return type, yesterday, okay, we discussed about the return type, right? Why we go for return value? Why we go for return value? Why we go for return value? Okay, this is common for any programming language. Why we go for? Okay, very simple. I have one function is there, or I have one method is there. That method result I want to use in multiple places. Instead of calling that method every time, can you return that result? Can you hold that result in one variable? You can use that particular result wherever you want, how many times you want or not. Okay, best example, yesterday we discussed it, right? I have a function is there. Okay, I have a function, public void, okay, fn. For example, this is my function. This is my function. My function has 5k statements. Okay, after executing this 5k statements, I have, okay, some result. This is my result. Okay, so my function has 5000 statements are there. This result I want, so that if you want this result, just you can call the function. So if I call, how many statements executed? 5k. Like this result I want 10 times. Then the time, how many times you have to call this function? 10 times. If you call this one 10 times, then the time, how many statements going to execute? How many statements? 50k statements are going to execute or not. Now instead of executing this 50k statements, can you follow some better approach? Okay, what is that approach? This is my function, right? This is my function, right? This function, 5k statements are there. Finally you have the result now. That result you can return it. That result you can return it. Okay now? Now tell me, what is the return value of my fn? This result, right? So it returns something means it should not void or not. Yes or no? Void means no return value. But here now return value is there. For example, my return value is like number. My, come on, my return type is like what? My return type is like integer or not. My return type is like integer or not. Yes or no. Okay. Okay. Now what you have to do? First, call the function. If I call the function, tell me how many statements executed. 5 statements executed. Now tell me, whenever you call the function, this function returns a value or not. Any function while calling return some value. That value you can hold it. Not only function, any statement returns me some value or gives me some value. You can hold that value for future purpose. How we can hold the data? How we can hold the data? Using, come on, using variables, right? We can hold the data using variables or not. This statement, okay, executed these many lines, finally you have the return value is there. So the return value you can hold with one variable. Now this particular variable holds this result or not. How many times you want this? 10 times, so that this result you can print to 10 times. So result, how we can print 10 times? So I not called this particular function 10 times, just I print this result 10 times or not. Yes or no? So if you print this 10 times, 10 statements are required. Okay, so 10 statements means 10 lines. So 5k plus 10, total how many lines? 5010. But here how many lines of code executed? 50,000 lines of code executed. For example, one line take 1 second. This one 50,000 seconds is going to take. This one 5,010 seconds is going to take to execute. So performance wise, which one is better? Performance wise, this one is like better or not? Understood? When you can go with the return, any function, okay, any function result, if you want to use multiple places, don't call that function again and again. Don't call this function again and again. Okay, instead of calling for the same result, I'm talking about for the same result, don't call the function again and again. If you call same result only can get it, but again 5k lines of code, again 5k lines of code is going to execute or not. It's not a recommended one. That the reason you can follow this approach. Okay, so here also tell me here public, come on, I'm talking about this one, right? Return type, that is depending upon, okay, why we go for return value, understood, right? Return type, that is depending upon your return value or not. So my class public, okay, void get total, okay, get total wheels, something like this you can write it in this particular function, okay, or method you can say. You can write your statement. So far in this particular one, what statements has to write, I didn't discuss, we'll discuss later. This is my simple class syntax or not? Yes or no? My class finally contains what? My class is a collection of variables. My class is a collection of methods. So you can say my class is a collection of variables and methods. I already told you, you created a class means that is your thought. That's it. Okay, when my class is ready to provide the service, when I can say my bus, this is my bus, see my front wheels 2, my back wheels 4, my bus color is this one. When I can say confidently, whenever the bus is physically available or not. Yes or no? Physically my bus is available, that means my bus is available, okay, physically, that means my bus object is available or not. So if you want to use the services, if you want to tell, okay, front wheels 2 only, back wheels 4 only, like this, if you want to tell my bus should available first, so my bus object should available. So how we can create a bus object? In Java, if you want to create an object, what is the syntax? Yesterday we discussed
By using new keyword.
new operator, new keyword or not. How to create an object in Java? How to create an object to the class in Java or not? Okay, see, this syntax is like different from one language to another language. So how we can create using new keyword? You said, right? New. For which class you want me to create an object? For which class you want me to create an object?
Bus class.
Bus class.
First you can create an object. Now tell me, this particular statement gives me what? Come on, any statement gives me some value. We can hold that value with one variable. This gives me a bus object or not. So this gives me a bus object or not. Now in Java, the variable syntax is not like this or not. Okay, in Java, the variable syntax should be like what? Data type, variable name, and variable value is there. Here, variable name is there, variable value is there. What is missing? Data type
In
is missing or
data
not?
type.
Data type is missing. Now tell me, what is the data type? Data type is nothing but the variable holds which kind of data my data type should represent about that particular data or not. Here, fw is my variable which holds 2, so that my data type should represent this particular variable value or not. So it's like int. Same here also, this variable holds which object? Bus object. So my data type should tell something about the type of this particular variable value or not. Yes or no? Now tell me, is it like int? This particular value is like int, stringa, booleana, floata, doubla, okay, chara? No. This is what? What is the value? It is a bus object or not? So what is the data type of my bus object? It is a bus object. So what is my data type? My data type is like bus only or not. Done. Understood everyone? Okay, now int, float, char, w, okay, these all are like predefined data types, but bus, my Java people defined you defined this one, the class. You defined,
We define.
you define it, right? So that this is like a user defined data type or not. Understood everyone? Up to here, okay? Okay. Okay, then the next one is how to, okay, call the members of a class in, okay, class using object in Java. See, these are the basics. Okay, if you focus first 1 week on basics only, you can easily understand whatever the code, okay, the Java people, whatever the code they written, you can easily understand, you can try to analyze. If you don't know about the basic, that is very difficult to understand and analyze the code. That's the reason, focus on basics. Basics first. Okay. Okay, let's go. Tell me how we can access the members of a class by using an object. Okay, if you have an object, how we can call the members? Members is nothing but the variables as well as methods. So how we can access? Come on, how we can access? By using an object. What is my object? Bus class object. Bus object. Okay, by using dot notation, we can access. Okay, so which one you can access? Okay, fw. Okay, see, programmatically everything we are going to discuss, but for now, okay, just okay, you should get some idea. Okay, the clear picture. Okay, this is looks like a class. This is looks like an object like this. You should get some idea on that. After that, okay, we are going to use the syntax and we are going to execute the programs and everything. Okay, bus object dot, okay, the next one is what? Get the total widths. Get the total widths. Okay, done. Now very simple. Okay, yesterday I asked, okay, today also I want to ask, okay, what is the type of bus object? I'm highlighting something, you have to tell the type. What is the type? Bus object type is what? Come on, bus object.
Objective.
What exactly the name? Bus object type is what? This is the bus object, right? See, this is the FW, right? FW type is what? Integer.
Int
Okay.
type.
Now,
Int.
my bus object type is what?
Bus type.
Bus.
Bus, right? Bus type. You have to tell like bus type. Okay. So bus object type is like a bus. It's a bus. Okay.
Bus.
Now bus object dot FW type is what?
Int type.
Int type, right? Bus object
Mm.
dot fw is nothing but this one or not. This one holds which value? 2. So that what is the type? Int type or not? Yes or no? Here also same. Bus object dot bw is which type?
Int
Bus
type.
object dot bw, integer type or not? Here bus object is which type?
Bus type.
Bus type. Okay.
Bus type.
Total wheels is which type?
The method.
Method. Now
Method.
this is which type?
It's returning void.
Void. Okay, no type, no type. So any method call, okay, you are calling one method means, okay, if this is having the return value, that is you have to tell like that return value type. If it is not written anything, what is the type? It's like void type or not. Understood everyone? Up to you, okay or not? Okay, na? Okay, then see, now I'm going to ask some questions, just you can answer it. Somewhere stdobj dot listen carefully, stdobj dot get student info. If you see the statement, only the statement is somewhere. Okay, the code is written by some X person. Okay, in that particular code you saw something like this, the statement. Okay, if you see the statement, what do you think about the statement? What is running in your mind about the statement, about this statement?
stdobg is a object
Okay.
which is some class type. Maybe it's a student class
Yeah.
which has get student info method in that class.
Yeah.
We're trying
Like
to
you
access
have to
that
think,
method.
right? Okay, my student object is an, okay, this particular variable you are using like a dot notation, right? Yes or no? You're using like dot notation is nothing but simply you can understand like in the entire Java, okay, something like this dot. Okay, that means you are accessing the member, right? Okay, you are accessing the member with this particular object. Okay, you are accessing the member with this object means this particular object, okay, this particular variable is an object of one class. Inside that class, this particular one is like one method or not. That's all. Come on, reverse, just think. Okay, now std object dot, okay, or anything dot, if you see in Java now onwards, just simply before dot, okay, whatever you have, just think like that is an object. Just think like now onwards, that is an object. Object of what? You are going to create an object for what in Java? You are going to create an object for what in Java? Classes.
Class.
Class.
Classes or not, so that this is an object of one class or not. Okay, now before dot, this is an object. What about after this dot? What do you think about this one? Come on, you are accessing this particular member with the object means this member inside where? Inside that object or not? Okay, that object is what? Object is a one class object, right? This particular std object is what? One class object or not? So you can think like this. Std object is an object of one class. Inside that class, my get student info is what? Is a method or not? Yes or no? So reverse you can write. Come on. std_obj is an object of one class. So can I write like this? std object is equals to, come on, new student. Can I write like this? See the basic things. After that, okay, some extra stuff we can add it, but the basic things we have to understand. Okay, done. Is it valid syntax or invalid syntax? Is it valid or
Invalid.
invalid? Okay, invalid.
Invalid
Because
syntax.
in Java, okay, if you create any variable with some value, that variable should represent with some data type or not. Okay, what is the data type? Okay, just you can assume. Okay, it's not like exact. You create an object for the student class means this is the student class object. So the type is what? Student.
Student.
Student or not. Okay, done. So my student is which type? By seeing this one, this student is which type? By seeing this one, student is which type? Come on, class, right? You create an
Yes,
object
sir.
like this means if you see this statement only, what do you think about this statement? You create an object for the student class or not? Yes or no? So my class is what now? What is my class?
Student.
Student is my class or not? Inside the class, come on, you create an object for the student class. Inside the class, you call which method? You call which
Get
Get
method?
student.
student
Get
info
student
method.
info. So that can
Info.
write public void
Public void.
student info,
The student.
and you can write some statements based on your requirement or not. This is the way, okay, we are going to call. You can create a class and you can create an object. You can access the members of that particular class or not. Okay, understood? You got some idea right now, okay, how the classes looks like, how we can create an object for that particular class, how we can access the members of the class or not. Okay, na? Okay, the next level. Okay, the next one, see, this is also important. Well, because anything, okay, any program you can take it. Okay, already I showed you. Okay, Java hello hello world program. If you come here, now see the hello world program, how it looks like. How much part you can come to know now? Class or test. Are you able to understand or not? Yes or no? Are you able to understand or not? What is my class test? It's a class. Now, this part I want to explain you. This part I want to explain you. See, this particular one, okay, you have some idea. Okay, in this also, okay, 50% you know, 50-60% you know. What do you know? Access modifier, you know. Yes, no. Access modifier, you know or not? Okay, the next one, return type, you know. Yes
Data
or no?
type.
Okay, the next one, method name, you know.
Method name.
But this one we not discussed the parameters. Okay, parameters we not discussed about the static also. Okay, we discuss okay, this particular statement whatever you have we not discussed. Okay, this is like repeatedly asked question. Can you explain me what is this system.out.println? Okay, you can easily understand, just follow. Okay, shall we go with the static and shall we go with the arguments list? Okay, now let's go. Now, when you can go with the arguments, again, this concept common for any programming language. Now, what we are going to discuss, that one is common for any programming language. Tell me, why we go for arguments? When you can go with the arguments list? When you can go with the arguments list? Very simple example. Okay, I have one person is there. He want to find the sum of two numbers 10, 20. He want to find the sum of two numbers 10, 20. So how we can write one method, functionality, any functionality, small or big, better to create one function, handle that functionality inside that function. Okay, now onwards, don't write the functionality outside. Okay, better to write that functionality inside one function. Why? Because now you not use multiple places, but in future if you want to use multiple places directly you can call that function. Okay now, so how we can create a function in Java? Tell me. Public void find sum. Yes or no? Yes, done. Okay, it's a method outside directly we not write, just I take it out and I'm explaining, that's it. Okay, he find the sum of what? Come on, 10, 20. So that number one is like a 10, number two equals to 20, my int sum equals to n1 plus n2, and finally, okay, he written the result, for example, or he print the result. How to print to system.out.println? Okay, we not discussed that, just I'm going to write my own words like print the sum, that's it. First person find the sum of two numbers. Okay, so already he handled this functionality with one function. So can you ask the first person call that function? Yes or no? How we can call the function? With the function name. So how we can find the sum? Whenever you call, you can get this result or not? Yes, no? Don't think more so far, it's like basic thing. The second person also requires find the sum of two numbers only. So what he has to do? Again, you want me to create one more function? No, already you created a function with that functionality, just you can call it. Done. Third person also required the same. Third person also required the same. Like this 10 persons required, okay, 10 members required the sum of 10, 20. Okay, so that you can ask these 10 members call this function or not. Okay, everything is okay. Okay, working as expected. You written the code effectively only. Why? Because you not write this code 10 times. So you written this code only one time only, and you ask these people to call that particular function or not. 100% valid this is. Yes, no? Okay, but now, okay, these 10 members only, they asked the question like this. Hey, I don't want to 10, 20 sum. Okay, first person asked like I want 1 to sum. Okay, second person asked like I want to 10 comma 20 sum. Third person asked like I want 11 comma 22 sum. Like this 10 members has their own requirement now. Got my point? 10 members has their own requirement. Now tell me, if 10 members has their own requirement, if they call this particular method or function only, then the time whose requirement satisfied? Only one person requirement satisfied. This is this guy or not? Yes or no? Only this person requires what? 10, 20. Here you find the sum of what? 10, 20. But this person, okay, expected result 3, but get the result 30. This person expect result 33, get the result 30. Remaining 9 persons get unexpected result or not? Yes or no? Now tell me how we can handle in this case. In the past, all required 10, 20 only the sum, so that I hard coded here. Now you want me to hard code or not? First question. You should not hard code or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now tell me who has that inputs. Okay, first person has his own numbers, second person has his own numbers, third person has his own numbers. Now tell me, okay, the inputs where we have, okay, the inputs are with these members or not? Okay, if inputs are with them only, can you ask their inputs? Can you ask their inputs to this particular function? So how we can get the inputs from outside to this particular function means using parameters. Using parameters. How one function get inputs from outside? How one function gets some data from outside? Using parameters. So here I'm expecting the number 1, I'm expecting number 2 parameters, I'm expecting 2 values, I'm expecting. Got the point? So now these 2 values, who has to pass? First person, second person, third person or not? So when you can pass the data to the function, when you can pass the data to the function, when we can pass the data or input values to the function, when we can pass, while calling or not. This is common for any programming language. I have one method, I have one function is there, when I can pass the data to the function while calling or not. How we can hold the data to the function which is coming from outside? How we can hold the data inside the function which is coming from outside? Through parameters or not, or arguments. So while calling this particular function, first person has to pass which data? 1, 2. Second person has to pass which data? 10, 20. Third person has to pass which data? 11, 22 or not. Whenever my first person pass finds some 1, 2, my first value go to my first parameter n1, my second value go to my second parameter n2, n1 value is 1 now, n2 value is like 2, my int sum equals to n1 plus n2. So print sum, my sum is what? My sum is, okay, 3 or not. So here 10, 20 same, here 11, 22 same or not. Whenever the function is expecting the inputs from outside, then the time you have to go with what? Parameters or not? So no, whenever the function is expecting some inputs from outside, then the time you have to go with the parameters or not. How we can pass the data to that particular function? How we can pass the parameters value to that particular function? When we can pass the parameters values to that particular function? While calling that function or not? Understood? Come on. While calling that particular function, we can pass the data to the function or not. So how we can call the function? Using the name. So find some 1, 2. So while calling the function, you can pass the data. That data we can hold it. If you not pass the data, what happened? Okay, we'll see at the time of programmatically we are going to discuss, right? If you pass instead of integer, okay, if you pass like a string, what happened? We'll see, okay, at the time of programming, okay, executing these programs. Okay, for now just remember the basic stuff. Understood the parameters? Yes or no? If my function is expecting some values from outside, okay, how we can hold that particular values? Through parameters or not? Then, or how we can pass the data to the parameters means while calling the function, we can pass the data like this data go to your parameters or not? Agree, everyone? Come on. Okay, now you can come here now see, okay, this particular main expecting some data or not? Yes or no? Which kind of data? String data, but this is not like a direct string, it array of strings. Okay, array also one kind of data type, it's like int, okay, array type. That means multiple integer values. Here, string, only one string, you can put like string name, but multiple strings if you want to, then the time you can go with what? Array. Okay, we have a separate discussion. Data types, we have a separate discussion. For now, only focus on the int. Okay, but here, okay, don't focus on this one, but you can understand like my main function, my main method. Okay, now onwards, don't use like a function terminology. This is inside the class, you can say like a method. The main method is expecting some data from outside. So how we can hold the data? How we can hold the data as like a parameters or not? Understood? Got my point? Okay, why this main? Okay, we'll see. That is our next first hello world program we are going to execute, right? That program execution flow we are going to discuss. That time you can understand. Now come to this one, static. What is this static? What is this static? Okay, the next one is like what? Static. Static, it's a simple keyword in Java. Okay, how the new, you said like new keyword, right? Same like the static one keyword, public one keyword, void is one keyword, like the static also one keyword. So if it is like a static, okay, if the static, first of all, static where I can use, okay, see in the method while declaring, I already told you public access modifier and return type and function name is like mandatory, but the extra stuff like this kind of static or abstract or like this different keywords we can add it, those are like an optional, those are like an optional. But I want to tell something about the static. Why? Because for my first hello world program you should know about the static, you should know about the static. Okay, let's go. Static is a keyword, I said, right? Okay, now see, again I'm asking, okay, I have one question. Tell me, I have a class. If you want to access the members of a class, how we can access it? I have a class, boss only can take it. If you want to access the members of a class, how we can access?
Create an object for the class and
Create an object for the
call.
class. Okay, perfect. Okay, you can call that members or not? Yes or no? You can call that members. Okay, now my question is what, as you said, create an object for that particular class, you can call that members. Now my question is what, without, okay, what is that? Without creating an object, can we call or can we access the members of a class or not? Members of a class or not? The question understood, right? You said like your answer is correct. As per our last discussion, you said like if you want to access the members of a class, if you want to access the members of a class, public void total wheels, no? Wheels. If you want to access the members of a class, you have to create an object. You have to create an object and we can access the members of the class or not. So how we can create an object? Bus, my bus obj equals to new bus, like this. My bus object dot fw. Next my bus object dot bw. Next my bus object dot total wheels, like this. Now my question, can you read it? Without creating an object, okay, without creating or without using an object, can we access the members of a class or not? My answer is yes. Yes. Okay, without object also, we can access the members of a class or not? My answer is yes. Now next question is how? How we can access the members of a class without using an object? Okay, how means very simple. Make that particular members as like a static members. Make that particular members as like a static members. So how we can, can I make this particular integer fw2 as a static member by using a static keyword? Can I make this particular member as like a static? Okay, can I use this member also static? How we can? Public static void total wheels. Now these all members inside the bus classes like static members or not? Yes, no. Okay, now if it is like a static member, without creating an object, how we can call, if it is a static member, we can call that members using what? By seeing this statement. Come on, using what? Using what? Am I create an object? Am I
By
created an
using
object?
class
No,
name
right?
directly.
By using the class name, we can access the members of a class or not. Understood? Static simply. Come on. Okay. My question is, without using an object, can we access the members of a class or not? This particular question is not only for, it is not only for Java. Okay, .NET you can take, Python you can take, JavaScript you can take, any language you can take it. Okay, without creating an object, without using an object, can we access the members of a class or not? The answer is yes. How? Okay, make that members as like a static. How we can make it? Using static keyword in Java. In Java, by using a static keyword, you can make that particular member as like a static. Okay, now once the member is like a static, how we can access the members without using an object? Means very simple answer. Using what? Using what? Using a class name. We can
That's
access
keyword.
members of a class or not. Using a class name, we can access the members of a class. Okay, now if you come to my first program, okay, this one we can hold it for now. Remaining all, you are able to understand or not? By seeing this one, okay, you are able to understand the syntax or not? See, class, what? Test is nothing but what you can understand. It's a class. Now this is what? This is what? Come on, this statement is what?
Methods.
Okay, it is like one method. Which kind of method? Which kind of method? This is which kind of method? Static method. Okay, what is the modifier?
Static method.
What is the modifier? Public modifier. Public is nothing but
Public
is nothing but
access
we
modifier.
can access from anywhere or not. Public is nothing but we can access from anywhere or not. Yes or no? Private means there is a restricted place. Okay, what is that restricted place? We'll discuss at the time of access modifiers discussion. The next one is like what? Void, or not? This is return type.
Return.
Is my main method written anything? No, by seeing this one. What is this one? This is the name.
Method name.
Method name.
Method name.
What is this one? This one is what?
Arguments.
Your
Parameters.
arguments list or not. Your arguments or parameters list or not. Understood, everyone? Okay, now? Okay, then. Now, okay, I have one question. You can answer it, okay? If you see this statement, what do you think? If you see this statement, what do you think about this statement?
Player is a class name because it starts with the capital letter.
Perfect.
And runs is a member of the class.
Yeah, runs
class.
is a member of that particular
Static
class.
member.
That is which kind of member? It's like a static member or not?
Yes, sir.
So it's like a static member or not. So the difference is what? See, if I write like this player dot runs, then the time, see here capital P, here small p. In Java, any class you can take it that is starts with capital letter. Okay, any predefined class you can take it. User defined means you are going to create. Okay, that should be starts with capital only. Okay, here my player starts with the capital. So that this is which kind of? It's like a class. By using a class, you are accessing what? One member. Using a class, if you are accessing one member, that member is like what? A static member inside which class? A player class or not? So I want the output is like 20,000. So how we can write it? Come on, class. What is that? Player, right? Class player. Listen carefully. Very important way, because this is depending upon this particular syntax. Okay, if you understand, then you can easily understand this particular statement. Okay, then come on, class player. Next, come on here.
In
Runs
trans.
is a
Int
static
runs
member.
equals to
Runs equal to
20,000. 20,000. Is it valid? It should be like what?
Not valid, sir.
It should be like what?
Yes.
A static, right? Now you can get the output is like what? 20,000 or not. Now see this part I can take it now. Okay, now this part I can take it. Now tell me about this. Tell me.
System is a class
System is a
name,
class, perfect.
and
System is a class. My
out is a member,
out is a static
static member.
variable or not? Yes or no? So why I set like variable? Okay, why confident like I set like variable? See, if it is like variable, it's not. It's like this only. If it is a method, we are going to call it right. If you see like this, then the time I can say like what? That is the method. If you not see, then the time it's like what? A variable or not? Yes or no? At least 90% I can confirm, right? Yes or no? So now this part you can tell. My system is a class. Inside the class, come on, system is a class. Inside the class, my out is what? One static variable or not? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, out is a static variable. Okay, perfect. Now see, this part you can ignore it for now. This part I want to take it. Okay, now this part I want to take it. This one, if you see, what do you think? What do you think? This one, if you see, what do you think? Come on, you can. Only this part, only this part. Don't think more about the previous discussion. Yeah, like close it.
Out is an object,
Yeah, out is an object, perfect. Object.
and println is the method of that class
Yeah,
compared to class.
yeah, you have to tell out is an object of one class. Yes or no? Out is an object of one class. Inside the class, my println is what? One method or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Out is a class. My println is the method inside that class or not? Now see this. Now total you can see. Okay, now system is a class. System is a class. Inside the class, come on, out is a, come on, out is
Static
a
variable.
static variable. Okay, whose type is what? Out is a static variable. It is a int type. Okay, it is like what? An object of one class or not? Yes or no? You only said, no. Out is an object of what? One class or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my system is a class. Inside the class, out is a static variable whose type is one class object. Inside that class, println is one method or not. So my question is, out is a object of one class, you said, right? That is which class object? That is our next level discussion. Okay, now understood?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, once it is done, we can start our first program in tomorrow's session. Okay. Any questions? Okay, you do the setup or not in your missions, local missions? Tirumala, Pavani, Sitaram.
Yes, sir. I'm done from my end.
Okay. Okay then. Okay, if you face some issues, just let me know. Okay, tomorrow we can continue. Okay then. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.